All right, so we have something that actually just came up right around the time that we were getting ready to start recording, and that is that Final Fantasy XIV is coming to mobile devices, to both iOS and Android. And let me double check on the date here, if they actually have a date. Let's see here. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anything about an actual release date or timing for that. But either way, certainly surprising. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's definitely not what I would have expected. I mean, on one hand, again, I have to understand that mobile gaming isn't exactly where it was when I sort of initially, sort of like first heard about mobile gaming, and especially when you think about games like your Candy Crushes and your, I guess, whatever those random sort of survival builder games they have, that phones are more powerful and they're able to do more stuff as a result. I mean, I think that this is definitely something that, because I mean, Final Fantasy XIV was even on the PS3, correct?
Yes.
So in that case, I feel like, I mean, considering the fact that we've got other games running on phones, like the latest Resident Evil games, for example, are on mobile now. This should definitely be able to come to phones. Now, one thing I will say is, I'm not certain how it'll look on the screen because of the fact that with MMOs, you've got so much detail going on because you've got all the menus and stuff and part of the UI. I'm not certain how that's going to translate to a small screen. I mean, granted, I'm certain there are people who have been able to get the game running on something like a Steam Deck, for example.
Right.
But the screen's still larger.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what that would look like. I think them launching it initially in China, it makes sense because of the sort of larger demographic, because China definitely would eat something like this up.
Right.
And then later, of course, releasing it globally. I think this could do pretty well. Now, one thing, though, that I'm curious about... Okay, so it doesn't seem like there's anything in the article that mentions it. I was wondering if they're going to do the thing what they have with... I mean, I'm assuming they'll do it, is allow you to have play the free trial up to, I can't remember like what level it is, if it's like level 40
Right.
or something like that, before you actually have to pay to play. I mean, I think this should do well. Now, I didn't play Final Fantasy XIV on PC, so this isn't necessarily for me. But I feel like, now one thing also I'm curious about is, okay, actually no, never mind. Okay, I actually stand corrected on a whole lot of stuff right now, because I'm now looking and seeing that this isn't actually a 1-to-1. This is a considered a sister game to Final Fantasy XIV.
Okay.
So it isn't going to be a 1-to-1. Because I was going to say, I wonder if you could actually transfer your save data, but since this isn't exactly the same game, or at least based on how it's phrased here, then I would assume that you can't transfer data over. So it'll be interesting seeing what happens with this. It's definitely a surprise, but I don't see any reason as to why it won't do well.
Yeah, it's definitely something where like I need to see what specifically they're doing with it, because the language is very vague on like how much of the experience is actually present here. I mean, it does make a whole lot of sense that it wouldn't be the full game, but honestly, it's just like I don't even know exactly how this works. Obviously, it is Final Fantasy XIV mobile, so it's probably not the full game. I probably should just ask some people who are actually like players of Final Fantasy XIV based on the explanations here. You know, does this sound like it's the full game or not? Because I'm not specifically seeing anything that says this isn't more or less the full game, just a mobile version of it. But obviously, you know, controls and that sort of thing are set specifically for mobile devices. From looking at the screenshots, I mean, it looks pretty good, but I'm also a little skeptical because of the fact that, you know, you had Destiny Rising where it looked really good in the videos that they showed, and then when you actually play the game, it looks like a 3DS game. And so, I mean, Square Enix, I think, is maybe a little more likely to have some involvement there to give a better, you know, for the game to actually look better. But I don't know, I haven't even watched the trailer yet, and even if the trailer looks good, I'm still a little skeptical on the matter. Like you, I haven't played Final Fantasy XIV. I had seriously considered it back in the original version of Final Fantasy XIV. But then, of course, for one, I knew that I wasn't really going to have time to play it, but also I wasn't super interested in an online game. And then, of course, I ended up rebooting it, and once they did Realm Reborn, it got really good from everything people had been saying, but I knew exactly how an MMO would work for me, and that it would probably be something that I'd get hooked on and spend way too much time on. And even now, it's like, I would probably enjoy it a lot, but I also would be concerned about potentially getting hooked. Of course, at the same time, I also look at it and I recognize how I've been with Destiny for a while now, where I basically haven't really played much at all in the past year. And so I don't know. I will say, when this comes to mobile devices in the US, if it's something that I don't have to pay for, I will try it out just to see what it's like. More just because I'm curious about it. I can't see myself getting into something like that, even if it's fun, because just like with Destiny, I just don't have time for it. Especially because I actually want to play, you know, some of the literally hundreds of single player games I already have. So, yeah, but it's still interesting. I definitely want to see what this ultimately looks like. And of course, with Tencent being involved, you know there's going to be some gross monetization for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, that's all I got on that. All right. Any other thoughts on that topic?
No, sir.